Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of ArmTalk. I'm your host, Jody Williams, and today I got to say this because the new league that's taken the arm wrestling community by storm, right? Tough, but you know what though? I can't talk about it, so why not bring two people who know all about that? Jason Constantini, Ian Carnegie. Guys, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Jody. I appreciate it.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah.
So I want to get right into it, right? 8 teams, 4 in Canada, 4 in the United States. You just had your first meet not too long ago with Montreal and Toronto. So Tell me the feedback you guys got back from that event.
Feedback's been awesome. Feedback from the athletes, like the people that participated, was great. Very similar to what you've probably heard Ian say about his experience participating, and just the idea of participating on a team and arm wrestling, not just for yourself, but the fact that your win and your performance mattered for the whole team, really changed the dynamic and the energy that all the arm wrestlers felt. And then the other response that I was really happy with, or that I can make note of, was all the media and all the press. So people like like we had some reporters there, the Toronto Star, some influencers, things like that, people that are into sports and have seen arm wrestling before, and they were just like, this is so much different than what I've understood or what I've thought of when I think of seeing arm wrestling. As far as feedback from the arm wrestling community, I think it's been a little mixed because it's so new, and I think there's people that are maybe set in they think this is the way things should be, but it's not. I'm not really making it for the arm wrestling community necessarily. I'm trying to make it to expand the arm wrestling community. So the thing that I was really happy with was the response from people that aren't arm wrestlers. When I watched it back with my wife, who is obviously hears about arm wrestling all the time, is not in love with the sport in any way, shape, or form, but deals with it because she loves me and is super supportive, and I'm super grateful for her support.
I can vouch for that. That's true.
Yeah. And after the event, I was like, do you mind if we watch it? And she was like, okay, God, let's see how long I last. Cause we've been, we were at the venue at 6:30 in the morning, and now it's 11:30 at night. We just got home, and I'm asking if we can watch what we just did all day. And maybe 5 minutes in, she turned to me, she asked me, she said, pause it for a second. I paused it. She was like, okay, you really did do it? Because normally we would have made it through one match, 30 seconds, not even in. And I would have been like, okay, I can't watch it. And I want to finish the game now. I'm interested in it. It really, the whole way it's presented really does have a pace and an energy to it that's interesting to watch. So it's all those comments that I've been really happy about.
Well, as you can see, Dan the Nightmare says TAWF is the future. You got the Nightmare, just, you can tell he's excited about that. Also,
very supportive.
You got my man over there, and he knows all about Calgary, Mr. Brian Parliament. And, matter of fact, those guys are next because you got Team Calgary and you got Team Vancouver. They're about to go heads up. Is that next month?
It's in February, so still a few months away.
Okay, so in February. So
February 21st.
Guys, tell me how this works. So you have a captain, and it's like a draft and everything. So let me know how this works out, because when I heard about that, 2 guys per weight class, then you have a reserve. And I'm thinking, okay, if you really, honestly, if somebody, and this is how I'm thinking, correct me if I'm wrong.
No.
If somebody was really drafted on this and really put all their eggs in that basket, they don't have to do any other tournaments. They could just focus squarely on that, because it's almost like a minor league team. Hey, you get drafted by this team. I'm thinking, wow, I'm committed. How does practices, first of all, how does the draft go? Let's start with that.
Okay, so the way we did it for Toronto and Montreal, because there's a lot of crossover and there's a lot of athletes that people know about in both provinces, and because they're so close, I thought that a good way, and also I thought it was a good way to kind of get the idea of the teams and the fact that there's a roster out, was what I wanted to do was get a pool of the best athletes I could get that wanted to participate across Ontario and Quebec, and then picking the 2 managers, have them draft their teams like a normal draft. For the game coming up with Calgary and Vancouver, because I don't know the area as well, and I'm not in those areas, I've got the managers already established, and they're basically trying to get the best teams they can get together in those areas. Alberta, Calgary's team is pretty much set already, and now Vancouver is trying to match it basically. And but there won't be a draft for them. The idea will be we'll establish all the teams for the first season. Once the first season is run through and everybody's got a real idea of how everything works, for season 2, in the off season between the 2 seasons, the idea would be basically make everybody a free agent again and then run a new draft where people could be drafted. Like original, I don't know at what point we'll start crossing the borders, but because it's like US versus Canada as the finals, I think keeping the teams segregated US Canada, at least in the beginning, will make sense. I think eventually if the league, and once it gets big enough, it'll be like the NFL where it doesn't matter. It's just like who gets picked to go to which team. But for this, we wanted to keep it separate so that there is still a little bit of that, like these guys from this area, these guys from this area. So the rule right now for the draft, and even for the guys picking in Calgary and Vancouver, the rule I've set for them is they just can't take somebody within 150 kilometers of the other host cities. So like somebody that lives within 150 kilometers of Vancouver can't be picked or drafted or put on the Calgary team, and vice versa. But other than that, like somebody from Alberta who maybe doesn't get picked by the Calgary team, that Vancouver's like, yeah, I want them, or the other way around, that could happen as long as they're not within the city radius that I just said, 150 kilometers.
And for all you U.S. guys who are interested, there's 4 teams in the U.S. You have Tampa, you got Long Island, New York, Detroit, and Las Vegas. So do you know when those guys will start kicking things off?
Yeah, so the first game there will be Detroit and Long Island, and it'll be in Long Island at the end of May. And Dan the Nightmare and Dan Centrella are kind of my like head guys in figuring out and mapping out who's going to be on the teams. I don't know who they're going to pick exactly as the manager and as the teams and all that yet, but there are like connection to all the sort of arm wrestling community in that area. And then there's I always get him. I think it's Steve Fernandez, but I'm probably mixing him up with the guy that's actually in Michigan. Jerry Bell. That's the guy in Michigan. Sorry, Jerry Bell and Dave Shea. Right? Is it David or Dave Shea? Yeah.
Dave Shea.
There is Dave Shea. I don't know if he's part of it, but Dave Shea is an arm wrestler in Michigan.
He had a MAC table, and I had reached out to him originally. So between those two, I think Dave really wants to be one of the heavyweights on the Michigan team. But Jerry is probably most likely going to be the guy helping me pull together who the whole team is there. And then I've talked to Chance Shaw in Florida, and he loves the idea and super supportive. So I'll deal more with him when we get closer to the Tampa and Las Vegas game, which will be in the middle of August. And so the idea is, what's that?
The Drew 24 says he would like to find out information on the Las Vegas team. He said he can't find anything on the website as of right now.
Yeah, if you go to the website, it just says coming soon because we're still establishing everything for that team. But there's so many guys out in that area. So once we get closer to that, I'll be reaching out to guys in that area. But I feel like as we establish, like as we show, like as we did with the first one, like how real this actually is going to be, it'll start to entice that hype where. I want to reach out to the guys in Vegas when I know that they're going to be excited to do it, right? So same thing with like when I reached out to the guys in Long Island and Detroit, they are already into the MAC table. They were already like there was some energy working towards it where they would be really accepting towards it. So I feel that once we get ourselves a little bit more established. The guys in Vegas around the Vegas area, and that doesn't have to be right in Vegas. Like I know, like California, Northern California, and like that whole area around there. There's a bunch of guys. There's Derek Smith. There's Brandon Allen. There's if you get into Utah, you've got Bob Brown. Like you've got a lot of guys to pick from there that could represent Las Vegas as a team, right? So
here's a question from Neil's index finger. Hannah was switched out for Peyton Pickering. So. How does that work out? Like, who was originally on what team?
For Alberta, that's the girls are kind of new to me, and I know that there was a little debate between Hannah and Peyton on who was going to get the spot. The last I had heard talking to Sean was that there was some discussion that they were going to maybe have a super match to determine who got that spot. I don't know if maybe they had that at practice since I talked to Sean about that. But the idea for the girls is more like a super match. So it's more like since Sean has developed the teams first, he's going to pick his 3 girls, and then basically Marlon and also the girls, like if the girls have somebody in Vancouver that they want to pull and it's a competitive match, we'll just see if we can make that match happen. Again, more like a super match for the 3 of them. And then the way the game is played out for them, it's still team versus team. But the way I set that up is more like setting up super matches than setting up the team format with the men with the roster.
Okay, and as he says, they have a match coming up. So
so whoever wins that is going to be the one that actually represents the team. So I told them
that's a lot of pressure. That's a lot of pressure because
I love it.
Like, hey, you win, you get to be on this team. If you don't, then it's like all or nothing. So there's a lot at stake going into this super match.
Well, tell them about the results of MAC 4. You said the exact same thing. You said, MAC 4 is going to determine a lot how the draft goes. And
because it was the week before, right? So it ended up, I think that the matches that I thought would have a factor ended up going like the way that we thought. So it didn't really change too much in the draft, but it was definitely something that was going to affect it. Actually,
can I go back to a point that you made at the beginning? Like Tiny was saying that not everybody in the community was like up, like all for it. But I had some of those conversations with people, and I'm like, listen, I was there, okay, and I saw that what the people, anyone that was actually there, the energy is palpable. One of the things I think that this is better than super match format, and people would say, Ian, why would you say that? It's counterproductive to what you're doing. Look, there's always going to be a need for 1 versus 2 to figure it out. There's always going to be a need for that. But if you're asking me, do I give a fuck about every single match on a super match card, and I can keep my engagement the same? No. And I love arm wrestling, but there's going to be people I don't know and matches I don't care about. But with the team aspect, once you pick your side, so for me it was weird because I'm from Montreal, but I spent a lot of time in Toronto, and for me it was like I was indifferent initially, right? I was watching the matches and it was very close initially, and then Quebec or Montreal started making really good moves and decisions, and then the score started getting really wide, and then I found myself cheering for Toronto because the underdog thing, right? So the whole time, so I'm invested in every match. It doesn't matter who technically is at the table, right? Like, because whatever that guy's got to do, he's got to do something to help give points, or if he can't win to give points, he has to do something to affect the guy who's going to win, so he doesn't score maximum points, right? So if you can get him to reduce his points, it's like adding points for your team. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So everyone, like I had a job to do. I was supposed to look after the merch, and I mean, half the time I'm in the air with my phone trying to, you know what I mean? Because I was so engaged, and people just decided to stand right in front of me and taller than me. I'm like, come on, guys, But it was true the whole time, and fast, so fast. Like there isn't anybody who's got it nailed down like Jason. Okay, Jason's got this team aspect that will be ready made for a TSN or an ESPN or Fox Sports slot. Once the men got on stage, correct me if I'm wrong, Jason, I think it was 1:30, and we were done the game by 1500, so 3 p.m.
Yeah, like done, like the wrap up. Yeah,
done.
Yeah.
Well,
the timing worked out great. And just real quick to touch on what Ian was saying, one of the things I think, like, even if you think about how super matches, like how you format when you're thinking of putting together a card, a pay-per-view, you add, not you, I mean anybody that's doing that, adds matches going, okay, if I add this match, people are going to buy and watch the pay-per-view for that match. Like, you have to expand the card to get more views by adding matches that more people like. Okay, I know people are going to watch this match, but the people that are going to watch this match, they don't care about this match, but the people who are going to watch this match don't care about this match. So I need to put both matches so I get both people to buy the pay-per-view and watch the pay-per-view. You get what I'm saying?
Right.
And that creates the effect that Ian's saying. And if you go to an event, it doesn't matter how any event I've been to, and even great events that were like a lot of fun, even our Mac 3, which was super amazing there, and the energy was great in the room. About 30 to 40% of the crowd at Max is paying attention to the match at any given time. Most of the time, like 30-40% is watching the match, and the rest of people are just hanging out, waiting for the match that they care about to happen. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or hanging out after the match that they do care about already happened. And at TAWF 1, the one that Ian participated in, one of the first things I noticed was the whole audience was fixated on the table the whole time. And that was the thing that I was like, oh wow, we nailed it. That's the right thing. And of course, this event it that repeated, and that was one of the things that the photographer from the Toronto Star was there, and he was taking photographs, and right away he was like, this is fucking awesome, I love this. And at one point, Christian Gilbert, the manager for Montreal, like celebrated and knocked him over, and I like almost fucking ran him over, and like went over to the scorekeeper's desk and got all like hidden, and he looked up at me and he was, the energy in here is fucking amazing. I got goosebumps. Like you can so feel the energy in here right now. He's like, everybody's watching the stage. He's like, this is real energy. This is not like just hype or anything. Like basically, good job.
And you can see like people becoming educated to the format right in front of your eyes, right? They're like, because as soon as they don't understand why the score, wait a minute, what the hell? They asked the next guy beside him. The next guy said, well, yeah, he won, but he accumulated a foul X or Y, Z. You know what I'm saying? Or
right.
that was a flash pin and the guy fouled. The other guy fouled. So, yeah, go ahead, son. So, you know what I mean? The points, like it's the judges and the refs got to be pretty keen to make sure the calculations are done correctly. But it was, I mean, imagine a match or an event where everything matters, where everything matters.
As it should, you know. Here,
that is what is not captured in traditional arm wrestling, because it's too individualized. It's an individual sport, right? So now that it like, this isn't like, I don't think this is a cheap substitute for a team sport. I actually think because of the way it's built, it is now, it has, and maybe will set the tone for other professional sports to follow suit. Like Jason has really come up with something that I think won't just affect arm wrestling, it may affect every combat sport in existence, because someone's going to look at that and say, that is a fucking incredible idea. Okay. And then they're going to say, maybe it works for boxing. Maybe it works for something. I don't know. I don't know what it is. But for arm wrestling, he made it a team sport, because I got the same feelings. Look, I don't think there was ever an event that I competed at where there was so much drama. I said this last night, in my own personal life, right in the event. And I told Jason, I said, I got injured in the event. Well, I went in there slightly injured, got more injured, but I was still killing it. I trained really hard, right? And my team was down, but we were making a come up. And I know if it was just me and it was just a tournament or whatever, super match, 100% I would have pulled out. 100%. I kept telling them, I said, guys, I think this is my last match, man. This rear delt is about to rip off me. And they're like, oh yeah. Seriously, they'd sit me down and they're like rubbing me, take the gun to me. Hey, you could see it on the camera. They're gunning. You're taking the gun, right? And giving me, we want water, Ian. You know, they're waving me down, all this stuff. And then on top of that, so I didn't want to let the team down, right? I'm like, and then I had to take a round off. Like I think Alan jumped in for me. And maybe Jeff Slater. Yeah, and then Jeff Slater tried to jump in for me, and then Slater Zach beat him too. So I'm like, fuck. So now I'm like, okay, I right-handed supers, I have to do it, because that's where we're getting our points, right? I was undefeated.
Right.
Then I get a call from my stepmother saying my dad's been rushed to a hospital. The doctors say get the kids here. He probably won't make it. And you can see on the camera, me on the phone, and me like wondering what to do because I'm literally in a game.
Yeah.
Right.
Right. So there's all this drama that's going on that people don't know about. So at the end of it, Robin's like, listen, you're in the game. Focus on that. If he's going to pass it, you're not going to make it here in time anyways. So, finish the game and come. So that's what happened. And right before I left, I walked by Jason and I said, you've done it. It's like a year ago. I don't know. Was it a year ago or more?
2 years now, almost. Yeah.
Yeah. I said, you've done it. Whatever this is, make it better, make it bigger. You've got something here because I haven't given a fuck about arm wrestling like that in a long
Right.
time. Do you get what I'm saying?
I think one recently is just BLM. Like BLM's first match, he fouled out, and he said when he fouled out, his head wasn't really in it, and he was like feeling like he was probably going to have a shitty day. And then he turned around and saw the eyes on all his team that he just lost a match for 8 points, and they just went down by whatever. Like it was in the first round, and it was like anyway. He just said that when he saw the look on all his teammates' faces, it was like, oh shit, no, okay, I gotta. And then he ended up having an amazing game. Like it totally turned his energy around. So
Went undefeated after that, and
Yeah.
then gambled and went up right. He gambled and he went up a class, right? So these are all extra points.
Yeah.
So he made
here-
up. He more made up for his loss by that gamble. Am I right?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
And you got awesome feedback. But before we go any further, just want to go out there and say speedy recovery for Rick Heidebrink, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I know. Yeah. He's already out of surgery. I think it was 2 days ago that I talked to him, and he had just gotten out, and he had a good connection, like through his wife, to get good care for it, get it done quickly, which is probably the most important thing for that injury, is to make sure that you get the surgery done as quickly as possible. So, and he's already eager and talking about recovery. So I think it's going to be such a blessing in disguise for him, because he's all top roll. He doesn't really have hook at all. And now with that tear, the way it changed, at least the way it changed my left arm, like it totally gave me a hook angle, like a high hook angle that I didn't have before. So I feel like if he ends up with being able to hook as well as do all the top roll stuff he has, he's going to be so dangerous. So, and the kid who tore his arm, I was saying this last night on our podcast, he tore his right bicep like when he first started, like 3 years ago, and now his right arm is like ridiculously strong, right? So
there you go.
And speedy recovery to Yannick too. He blew he tore his pec, about a 3-inch tear in his upper pec. So
tournament,
it's a combat sport, guys.
It is. But Neil's index finger says, I've been pumped for over a year since I first heard about the league. Good old Arm Sports video. Scott McGinnis says, it's really a refreshing new way to present arm wrestling. And here, I'm going to double down on that, because I understand we all got clubs, teammates or whatnot. But at the end of the day, when you get on the table, it's you and your opponent one-on-one. But what you guys got going on here reminded me of when I first got into it. And you're traveling with your teammates to your national or another tournament. It's like a road trip. So, how would that work out if you have a guy that's drafted by a team, but they don't necessarily live in that area, that vicinity? Do they go to their practice? How does that work out?
So that's one of the cool things about the sport, at least cool things in the beginning, trying to start a brand new professional sport, team sport, and thinking about the finance of it, the economy of it. If you think about B League, like basketball leagues or football or things like that, like the travel expenses are one thing, but the big expenses are practicing, like making sure that everybody gets to practice together, and you have to work out formations and like all that kind of stuff. With arm wrestling, we are still performing individually, and there isn't really an interaction between athletes as far as like needing to know plays and needing to know like where are you going to be on the field, where am I going to be on the field. So the teams don't necessarily have to practice together. Eventually, maybe as the league grows, like that maybe will happen more. And I hope that the sport grows to the point where like this team has really refined how to train for arm wrestling and how to, and they have the best team for these reasons, the same way like the way that the, Patriots run defense is special, and the way that they coach, their quarterbacks is special, and all that stuff. So I do obviously hope that that's how the league evolves over time. But what makes it unique is that you can set up these teams and they only have to be together at the game, right? So like when the game happens, that's when all the team actually comes together and is in the same room all together at the same time. Now, because of social media, because of the internet, because of the way the world is now, like they can all communicate and stay in touch with each other and game plan and strategize all the time, but they don't necessarily have to pull with each other. They pull with their clubs where they train, where they get good, where they have established themselves, but then they come together at the game together and support the team. And that obviously is how it worked for this. Like there was a couple, like Montreal had BLM and Curtis, both from Ottawa High Hookers. They had a couple guys from Montreal that were from the same club and stuff like that. So they have that already, like team energy, which is cool to be there together, which is hopefully what continues to happen with the teams. But
you got Alan Ford on the other team, you know.
But you know, next year when they do the draft for the actual season, there's a potential that those guys don't remain on that team. They might get picked on the other team.
Yeah.
Don't worry. I'm sure Mike Gould will figure that out. So
well, and there could be new guys too for like for Toronto, like that kid Ilya. By the time the first season rolls around, and now that Alan isn't in Ontario, like he's going to have to replace that spot. So there's going to be some roster adjustment that happens before the official start of season 1. And then before the official start of season 2 is when we'll do a full like redraft kind of situation. And but going into season 1, like you said, there could be there definitely will be some changes to everybody's roster on some level.
Oh, so this preseason draft actually is a real draft for the
it's going to carry. Yeah, the idea is that it's going to carry to the season. Now there might be a couple small changes, like I said, to the lineups, but it's not like Montreal's not going to be a different team. It's going to be. It should be basically the same guys. That's why like the preseason I'm establishing all the teams and like the managers, the locations for the home court, like where the host hotels would be, understanding the logistics of traveling in and out of the cities, all that stuff is part of what we're doing in the preseason is establishing all that so that when we run the season, we can run all these games smoothly, because when the season's happening, there's 2 games happening on the same day once a week. For 14 weeks, like logistically, they got to be tight. You know what I mean? I can't be
right. For example, so all the Canada teams are pretty much set, right, for this season,
except for BC.
BC, we're still ironing out, but yeah.
Okay, that's cool. So when does the season start and when does it end?
So the season will start in November. I think the official date is the 7th. I'd have to look again at the calendar, whatever day. I think it's the second Saturday in November of 2026 will be the official start of the season, and there'll be 2 games a week, like 2 games every Saturday, like a early and a late game, so like a noon and a 6 p.m. Time slots is the current idea. That might change by a little bit, but it'll be basically a morning and a night game on Saturdays, and they'll be in different cities and happening in different locations, and then because of the rotation. If each team plays each other once, that's 7 games for each team. Over a 14-week season means that each team's going to play a game basically every 2 weeks, which is the point of the rotation of having that extra athlete, that reserve athlete, is that's how the teams are going to have to space that out over the course of the season, and then teams are going to have home games and away games. So because it's 7 games, you'll have some will have more home than away and vice versa. And then if they have more away games, they might get an advantage on some of the away games, or they might get an advantage on the break. Like there might be a week where they get a 3rd week off or something like that.
Right.
So similar to like how football works.
So let's talk about this. So there's 2 athletes per weight class. Then you have a reserve, right?
Mm-hmm. So
let's just say, I'm a reserve, for example, and you 2 are, the starters for that weight class, just for the sake of this argument. Now, let's just say you guys are traveling to Calgary, for example, and I'm the reserve. Am I traveling with you guys, or I'm on standby, or how does that work?
So the reserve means like, think of it like I'm trying to think. I might screw up what other sports do it exactly like this, but the reserve is like an injured reserve. Like he's not. Whoever are the two starters are the two active athletes going to the game. The reserve isn't supposed to be active for the game. So like this last game, because Toronto was like they were like getting so kind of, oh my God, what's going on? And once Rick got injured, they asked me, and they had Mike Smith there, who was technically drafted by the team. So they're like, can Mike Smith like sub in? And technically I should have said, no, that's not like, it's not in the rules. That's not how it's supposed to happen at all. In the moment, I kind of felt bad and I was like, and I said yes. Hindsight, I should have said no. It should have been either Allen or Nathan Lee. Somebody else should have stepped in for that match. It's kind of sad actually that Mike, he totally came in and fell on the sword for his team, because he's not in the game. He hasn't warmed up. He hasn't done anything, and he comes in the very last match to take the very last loss against the guy who tore Rick's bicep. Like it was kind of,
now. Here's a question. But you said looking back at the moment, you should have said no. Now. Toronto's next opponent, that's when the sub would come in for Rick?
Yeah, like the way it would work is then, so Rick would have been, if he got so one thing I have thought about, and I haven't exactly decided how to word it to put it in the rule book yet, but there will be an opportunity where if there is like a season-ending injury like this, where it's not like somebody just like, oh, I tweaked my wrist a bit, or no, my elbow's sore, I can't pull today, like for the rest of the day, but he can be fresh for the next game or 2 games away. But if it's a season-ending injury like a bicep tear, there will be some sort of an opportunity for the teams to replace the player, because basically think of, they have 3 players on their team, they have to bring 2 to every game. That's gotcha. So the reserve can constantly change. The reserve is just like who's being left at home for this game, and if somebody gets a season-ending injury, like what happened to Rick, then there will be some sort of an injury, like roster change that I have to write into the rules that I have to figure out. But yeah, technically, if you lose somebody in the game, that spot should be done for that game until the next game.
Right.
Yeah. So kind of like in football, if you lost your quarterback, like, yeah, you have a backup quarterback, but we've seen where a team loses their backup quarterback and then the punter is in there taking snaps, who's never practiced quarterback really. So
you talk about pressure, and then they got to come in and go, hey, Big Rick went down. It's up to you now. You're like, wait, what?
Yeah.
So there's a lot of strategy. So tell us about because I don't think a lot of people understand. Tell us about the point system.
Sure. Yeah. So the point system, again, is basically to create it was intended originally. I was trying to figure out a way to make more value out of the fouls to sort of show dominance, because like if I win a match where I'm like Devin used to do in the WAL, where I'm holding you and I'm talking to you and you're struggling and then you lift your elbow to get a restart and then you lift your elbow again to restart and then I make you quit and you totally quit the match. That's a totally different win than if I'm like trying to win with a King's move. I take a foul to get a restart. Then I'm trying to tire you out with my King's move. I take a foul to get a restart, and then eventually I win on the third pull where I got 2 fouls. That's a desperation, but I got the win. And the other is I dominated you and you fouled out and you quit. Those should look differently on the scoreboard. That was the first like thought of it, of where it all came from.
Gotcha.
But as it evolved, the real purpose of it is kind of what Ian was saying earlier, is the idea that somebody who doesn't understand the game or the sport can look at the scoreboard and decipher what's going on based on the score that they see on the board. So, oh, he got 3 points and he got 7. Oh, why? Oh, he got fouls against him. He got fouls for him. Oh, he got a flash pin. Oh, that's cool. That means when you win fast. And, oh, he's pulling up a weight class because he's heavier. Okay, I see the weight. Like it starts to explain all the aspects of the sport just based on what's happening with the score. So the main purpose of the score is to create drama, create explanation and like things that you can decipher of what's happening based on the points. And then because of the way the format is, I wanted it to be, or I thought the best way to do it was, or maybe just the way it ended up happening, is that it's in a format where it really creates these point swings. I think is really cool, kind of similar to like football, where a team can be down by like 20 points and then all of a sudden really quickly come back and flip the score. Because of the way the points work out, that's what happens. So That was a long explanation of the theory behind it, but the way it works is the winner scores points, and only the winner scores points. The winner scores 5 points for a win, and then the points are offset by the fouls by a point. So if I win, but I have a foul, then I get 4 points. If I win, but you have a foul, then I get 6 points. And then there are other things to augment the points as far as like, so a flash pin. So if I win within a half second of the go, I get an extra point. If I'm the captain, I get an extra point for every time I win. If I pull up a weight class, I get a point for every weight class I go up. So if I'm a lightweight and I win a heavyweight match, I get an extra 2 points. So let's say Toronto, for example, Alexander was the captain. If Alexander had have pulled up to the heavyweight class, won the match and got a flash pin, that would have been 2 points for pulling up, a point for the flash pin, and a point for the fact that he's a captain. So he would have got a 9-point win for that win.
Wow, just wow, that's huge.
So there's ways that you might think of that where like maybe we know, okay, like we're not going to beat their right-handed guy. Like Allen might know he fresh for fresh, and after the second pull, he's probably not going to be able to beat Curtis, but he's going to be able to tire him out enough that if Alexander hasn't pulled a right-handed match at all, by the third or fourth round, he might be able absolutely right hand against Curtis's absolutely destroyed right hand. Now he might be able to beat him. And if they do that and call a gamble, there's 18 points. Like this is a way where you could know, okay, we know we're going to lose these matches early, but if we can put the damage and make sure not to lose too many points, by the time we get to the fourth round, we can do this play and make this huge point swing. And you know what I mean? So those are
this out. Let's just say you're a coach of one of the teams, right? And me and Carnegie are on your team, and I'm up against some stud. I can't beat him, but I said, you know what? Put me in. I'm going to wear him down so bad. So that way, Carnegie, hey, next go around, take him out because I wore him down. That's where the strategy. Oh, okay, I see.
Yeah, so it's like Ian said earlier. It's not gonna. What teams are gonna start realizing. It's not necessarily trying to get as many points as you can on the ones that you can win. Although that will be part of it. It's going to be trying not to lose too many points on the matches you know you're going to lose, and that's where Toronto messed up. The certain matches that they knew they were going to lose, they ended up losing plus a gamble, plus a flash, they ended up losing a ton of points to certain matches that they probably weren't going to be able to win anyway, as opposed to trying to find a way to mitigate those loss of points or the gain of points from the other team.
So let me ask you this, because I wasn't there live. Ian, you were there. Maybe you can chime in too. So between matches, are the coaches in the huddle with their guys going, okay, hey guys, we're down X amount of points. We need to get some points back. How about that? I mean, what was the huddle? Was there a huddle? And if it was, what was that like?
Ian, do you want to answer or?
Yeah, well, that's what it was, right? And there was some calls, and I mean, I don't want to harp on it, but like there was some decisions made that were very questionable, and that I think directly led to the loss in terms, at least initially with the big gap happening, because it was both coaches were pretty bang on for the early part.
Yeah.
And they were counterpunching and what have you. And then, you know what? Like I said, there was a couple mistakes made, and it was evident. So yeah, the coaches would have. So it's coaches and captains, right?
Yeah, or I'm calling them managers, like baseball calls it managers, but I think coach is the same thing. But yeah, the coach.
There also is a captain, right?
Yes, and then the team.
So there is a captain. So the captain and coach initially would talk. Some of the more like senior guys that knew would jump in and chime in a bit. Yeah, it really was a team effort. At the end of the day, though, it is the manager's final say. Yeah.
And I think just to add to that, I think the energy, like Ian said in the beginning, was very even. I think when Toronto lost the match to Rick against Matt the first round, I think that they got a little frazzled there, and the energy by the end of the game, Toronto seemed very kind of disoriented, like they weren't really talking to each other, and they were kind of like, oh man, what's going on? And Montreal was like super tight, super like in tune with each other, and you could just feel that energy really shifting as it was going, which I thought was really cool because again, it's that team sport aspect where once somebody on Montreal got a bit of momentum and energy, it was like everybody on the team got momentum and energy, and sort of vice versa for Toronto. Once somebody lost a little momentum or energy. It was like they all lost it. Like when Alexander went against John left-handed, I think in the beginning of the match, I think he had more than he realized. And John, one of the things John will do with his, like, because he's so experienced, is he'll kind of play like he's over cocky when he's not really that comfortable. And it got Alexander to take a minute to like pause. And as soon as Alexander froze for a second, John hit into his hand, took his hand a bit, and then ended up getting what was probably an easier pin than it needed to be. That was a moment where I feel like they were hoping and expecting Alexander to really just crush and win that match. And even you can see when he lost, he was kind of like, fuck, like he knows that he fucked up. And that was just, I think those kind of moments really deflated Toronto, and vice versa really inflated for Montreal. So it was cool to see that energy definitely play out.
Good question, because here's what Scott goes, which brings the question, will you offer video replay during protest?
Yeah, there was. So we had it as an option. The way it was run and the way it will be run as budget permits will be if each team has 2 challenges. If they lose a challenge, like like NFL, they lose a timeout. So it's really like they should only challenge plays that they really want to challenge.
I like that. No, you throw the red flag, you better win, because if you don't,
you lose a timeout.
Wow.
Yeah. And you only get 2 timeouts for the game and everything. So it's pretty tight. But the way that we'll run the replays is basically, if that happens, we'll cut to commercials, and then the two head refs will watch the live feed, and whatever replays we have on the live feed is what we'll have access to. Obviously, as budget permits, I would like to have a specifically set up replay camera just for catching like the pins and the elbow pads, like maybe one really even on top and one head up, like overhead, that are just for the refs. But one thing we do with at least for this game and what I expect to do for the next one is, whenever there are 2 head refs and they alternate each round, the head ref who's not watching, who's not actually on the table, is watching the feed like on a screen, like really like close, paying attention, like basically reffing from the screen. So,
yeah, we've seen that before in different organizations.
Yeah,
okay,
I think Wall used to do that, and
the PAL you did that too.
Yeah, it's a great idea because you have that extra set of eyes that is not distracted by everything that's going on, and they can really
like the tunnel vision without.
Yeah, exactly. So I think that'll help mitigate if that ref is also referencing the call, like if there's a questionable call and the head ref is like asking a down ref, that ref, the other head ref can chime in and be like, this is my decision, or so hopefully we don't have too many decisions that end up being questioned. Hopefully we can actually iron them out before somebody has to challenge it.
Oh, Nathan goes, I think most giving of a ref is that 100% assigned to the replay, and watching that live is a good idea. So that way, again, they don't get distracted. They're not getting yelled at. It's like, this is my job. I'm doing nothing but that. So, I mean, and I get that. I'm glad he put that out there, And
the way I'm doing it, they're switching round to round. So one round they're on the table, one round they're in the screen. So they get a feeling for both. So they should understand like what the guy on the table is seeing. And then same thing, if I'm on the table and I feel like I missed something, I could ask, hey, on the screen, what did you see? Did you see this? Because I wasn't sure about that or whatever. So hopefully it creates a good, like, where the refs are really in tune with each other as far as making concise and even calls.
Here's a bonus question for you guys, because I don't know if this question has been asked before. Nathan goes, is there a referee opening? Because he's interested if by chance he doesn't make any of the teams, he is a certified ref. Is that a possibility?
That definitely is, because so Dave Knox will be coming out there. He still has to confirm 100%, but he said that it's like a 95. So I'm sure that that'll work out. But if the idea is, yes, we'll have a MAC head ref, Dave Knox, and then I wanted to get refs from around there that are certified, and then also as a way for MAC to continue to expand, we need to get more and more refs versed on the reffing.
It's my fault. We need to do a ref seminar. It's scheduling right now. Like, I don't want to go into it with just me doing it. Like, I would like a head referee to be part of it.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? And then get more people qualified, because honestly, there's people running MAC like tournaments around, but because they don't have a referee qualified, they're basically just using the table, running it WAF. Like I've already seen tournaments like that,
Mhm.
and it takes away from like if I was a guy that
If you're
just
doing
did
that, you just
regular,
gotta make sure that they verify that they're not using the MAC rules for you, because it's gonna be
yeah,
hard to say that they can't do that altogether. But like, and I remember you in the beginning saying like, even if you want to run it with WAF rules, you could, which is true, which is the thing that's great about the table. But yeah, you definitely want people to like
to
if they're
know the difference.
yeah, because
Because when it's Mac rules, everything makes sense. It goes quickly. You know what
yeah,
I mean?
yeah,
Things run
Yeah.
smoothly. When it's not, then you get all the same fuckery. It is the system. That's the problem. It is the system. The system, if you want to shoot yourself in the foot, then go over regulate your sport. Right? If you want to corrupt your sport, add a lot of rules. If you want to over regulate it and kill it, add more rules. You know what I mean? Mac is trying to create a product that is close to what we think is arm wrestling. Two
yeah.
guys settling it on the fucking table.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you,
Not two guys waiting for the ref to tell them who won.
exactly. When you were on the pick cafeteria table, you looked at your opponent and you were like, yeah, okay, ready? Yeah. And then you went, right?
Mhm.
Nobody was trying to hit early. Nobody was fucking around. Maybe they were, but those guys were dicks.
I'm
You
just
know what
gonna
I mean? Everybody was a mirror of each other, and then you just grabbed and then you went, right? So
Mhm.
that's what we're trying to capture with Mac. We're trying to make it as fair for so the most important thing in Mac is the setup. That's the way I see it, right?
Right.
Get the two guys to agree to take the same grip. Okay, close and like webbing. I mean, if you want to be like this or that, but the thing is the setup, right? The angle, you're not entitled to a complete straight. It is canted. It's what I call it the lie of the arm. Basically, you put your arm down, it's this way. Doing this, forcing your body to do this is unnatural. Okay, so
Yes, it is.
you do that, I do that. We grab at center. Um, you don't square the shoulder because now it makes this angle irrelevant. So what you do is you hold your peg. The left shoulder is at 11 o'clock. You're square perfectly to each other, not the
Mhm.
table. And it really just matters if you're square to each other.
Yeah.
So you get if I'm at the 11 o'clock and you're at the 11 o'clock and my arm is like this and your arm is like that, we are perfectly square to each other.
And you know what? You can do more fuckery when you try to square to the table, because you have an object between you and the other guy to obscure the
That's
perspective.
right.
But
That's right.
when
And
the
that's
ref
why I like
square, exactly, when the ref is trying to square to shoulders, it's like you can't. It's harder to get away with that. And that is one thing I think in the beginning we were maybe a little too lax on shoulders, but it tightened up. Like we were able to correct it quickly, and um, being wrong about it didn't result in bad calls. It just resulted in maybe more hook matches. Like it resulted in a little bit different match structure, maybe,
Right.
but it didn't result in like, oh, now there's like, it didn't result in a big problem. Like the table and the rule set still works, because the idea is, like we're saying, you're squaring to each other. So even if we were letting people go too far, they were still square to each other. So it still more or less worked. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but
Gotcha.
ask yourself this. Go watch a WAF event, okay? Watch how many matches never get going. Watch how many matches they stop right when it gets going, okay? Now go to Mac and watch how many bangers. Even if it's a 3-0, a lot of our 3-0s are fucking amazing
Bangers.
matches.
Yeah, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well,
Watch.
there's something to be said because, and by the way, let me correction that referee question came from Brian Parliament, not Nathan Williams. Sorry, gentlemen. But there's something for everybody, because I think every once in a while we get an influx of pullers, which means okay, now influx of leagues. There's a place for MAC for athletes. There's a place for TAWF for athletes. There's still a place for WAF. There's a place for East versus West. There's so many leagues out there that there's tons of pullers. So you can't cater to just the same elite guys every single time.
Yeah.
And I
Well,
think
buddy,
what you guys
you're
are doing is
right. And at the same time, who are we to tell anybody what they can and can't like? Man, I'm telling you, I arm wrestle for 20 years. You know what? 19 of those years or 18 of those years were WAF. right? So I
Mhm.
obviously liked it. I'm just saying, after a certain amount of time, for me, it became unpalatable.
Hmm.
Like I
Yeah.
lost the love for it because I was like, okay, we're just shooting our. And I'll be honest with you, and I love East versus West, and I love all the my friends there and Robert and all of them. I care about them deeply. I want them to succeed. But it really, what got me to make the change was East versus West. Watching 8 hours and oh my God, the restarts and everything, and it was just like, come on, okay. And my mother, before she passed, and it's one of the best memories I have. She's like, Ian, don't be that guy that complains about shit. If you really believe that there needs to be change, put your money in your mouth is and put your work, get working and make a change. So I took it upon myself. I'm like, you know what? Arm wrestling really needs a change. So I'm gonna I mean, maybe I can't change what exists. That's fine. But now I'm opening a new avenue so people can jump on board, go back if they want, come back. It doesn't matter. But at least I know that there's something out there, a system that is a little bit closer to what I believe arm wrestling should be. And it's only an opinion.
Yeah,
It's
and just to touch on what Jody was saying about the idea of, like, if you like this, you can go there. If you like that, you can go here, and all that. If you think, being a chef, it instantly made me think of like food, like the most competitive cities food wise, like the places with the best food are the places that have the most options, that have the most pizza places to pick. Like, what makes New York the best place for pizza is that there are the most pizza shops, so that they have to, like, the best ones have to come. Like, it creates the best at the top. Like, you know what I mean? Like, the competition breeds success, kind of thing. And
Okay.
Go
I
to
think
Montreal.
what's that?
Go to Montreal. Montreal has incredible restaurants too.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
mean,
exactly. Yeah,
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 yeah.
exactly. And it's variety. It's that they have like a huge influx of already established stuff, and that creates more and more like the more options there are, the more people are going to get attracted to it, because they might not like this option, but they like that option. And if you didn't have both available, you miss that person. Like, that person now isn't interested in arm wrestling. You know what I
And the
mean?
competitiveness, like if you're the only pizza shop in town, you don't care. You can cut corners, maybe whatever. But if you know that there's a pizza shop across the street, your competitive juices get it. I'll make it a little bit better, better,
Yeah.
and maybe you use the higher end salamis and pepperonis or whatever. I don't know. I'm just guessing, but
Yeah, yeah, no, exactly. And then same thing. Like, it's that, also that variety, that, like, not everybody wants the same thing all the time. And we're also not trying to say, like Ian has said, and we're not trying to say this is the only way it should be. Like, even with TAWF, one of the reasons why we work well together, and why we continue to work together, is because, like, I'm not trying to replace super matches by creating this team format. And like, Ian isn't intimidated by this, trying to coach on super matches with the team format, because there is room for both, and they totally fulfill different avenues. Like,
and what I was able to do as a scout as well, being there. So all of a sudden, one of my super match athletes got injured, and in real time, I was able to replace that match with the guy that injured him. I said, "Well, you just knocked out my one of my players for my November 29th event. You're in the breach now. Like, you're fucking doing it." And he's like,
So
"Okay."
here's my last question. This is going to bring it home. And the comment by Brian said it would be benefited to have certified refs spread out, so that way we cut down on travel costs. But here's my question. I want you guys' opinion, because Mac and I see TAWF and I see them kind of intertwine one another. This is what's going to benefit, because people who go to Mac, right? And I think you guys got 2 events coming up in November, right? So now they're going to be on the stage, and now guess what? People are watching. So if a team or a captain from, the TAWF League happen to go to one of those MAC events, and they're kind of sitting up there kind of taking notes, because you even said when they draft next year, it may not be the same exact guys and girls. So if they go to a MAC event, kind of go, oh, okay, I'm gonna keep my eye on this person. They're doing that. That could very well happen too. Could it not?
It's both
oh, of
ways.
course, yeah.
Right.
Well, that's what he said. It happened already, right? Because Jason was there, and so was Christian. Christian was at Mac 4, right?
Mhm.
And he got to see a lot of the would-be pullers for the draft, right?
And I
And
think beyond,
he
even just
drafted
beyond that,
very well. Say again.
even just beyond internally, like for you to scout people or for me to scout people, I think one of
Yeah.
the things that's going to happen is I think that if TAWF continues to do what it's doing and it works as we believe it will and as I think it will, what's going to happen is you're going to end up getting like Toronto behind Rick Heidelbeck or behind Tyler Bolzan or whoever the guy is. And now when you have a super match with that guy, when he has a super match at Mac, you've got all the people that support him from Toronto that now care to watch the Mac super match event because they got interested in it from learning about this team sport that they follow their team Toronto on. So that's, to me, that's where I think they're really going to feed each other, as I see the TAWF season as being the thing that develops the hype and the story, so that when you get into the off season of TAWF, you have like 3 or 4 Mac events that happen where you're settling all this beef that happened during the season. Like this guy and this guy had a match and they only faced once, and it turned, and now, but he's the best middleweight and he's the best lightweight, but they're close. And okay, we're gonna have a super match. Okay, this heavyweight and that, like all this drama and all this hype that you're getting from all the storyline that's happening from the week to week games throughout the season create all these super matches that we want to see during the off season. And then, like you said, during the offseason, when those super matches happen, then the teams are thinking, oh, you know what? He did better than I thought. Actually, I'm going to draft him instead of him this time. Like, so the one affects the other, and hopefully it just continues to go like that.
I mean, Mac has a lot of, the tough thing with that is Mac, we do a lot of international. So I don't know. I guess, Jason, I guess you'll just have to start making teams over in Sweden and shit.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. Because if it gets successful enough,
or you guys, or your like your European stuff happens during the TAWF season, and then the North American stuff happens in the off season. And then when you're in Europe, you're actually scouting. So now when we want to start opening teams in Europe, you've established, like, we know who all the players are because you've done events out there. You know what I mean? Like again, it's always look at a way for us to continue to feed into each other.
Right.
You look at Christian, now he's like coach, captain, scout, general manager. So he's in a good spot right now where he kind of
he wants to pull really bad. That's the problem. He wants to pull really bad, but he can't. That's the problem.
Well, he can for Mac.
He can for what?
Mac.
Yeah, he can pull for Mac. Yeah, but I'm talking about, like, he wants to accumulate points for his team. But what I tried to talk to him about was his good decision making did accumulate points for his team.
More so than his decision making, because I think Brendan had a lot to do with the decisions. Was his energy. He was the one. He was the reason that the team became so team. Like when he did his cheer behind the thing, like I felt the building shake a bit.
Yeah.
I was totally doing something else. And I was like, what the fuck is going on? Like it totally stopped me. And then I was like, oh, that is cool. Like what they're doing right now. And
he loves it. He has passion.
He has, exactly. His passion was what really just fed into the team hardcore. And Mike, as much like he's so stoic, I think that when he got a little bit like, uh-oh, what do we do? Everybody was like, oh shit, if Mike doesn't know what to do, then we don't know what to do. Do you know what I mean? So it totally like, which is that's team sports. That's why I love it. Like I guarantee you, like I haven't talked to Mike. I know that he really loved the event, and I really hope that he is the manager for the season. I assume that he will be. It's gonna be different. Like he's gonna have
he's gonna be competitive now.
Like
he's gonna watch that, and he's not gonna be making the same mistakes.
Totally different. And I love it. I love it. Yeah.
Well, guys,
the thing is he's going to have to be more engaged with what's actually going on the arm wrestling scene. He's been a little bit outside of it with his work and family life. Why Christian had a little bit more of a finger on the pulse is he's still active and he's still
co-captain.
Well, you mean a co-manager?
Like you said, if Mike is the captain, but he's work has taken him away. You got to have somebody on that team kind of going, okay, I've been watching this lately. This is how it, then relay that to Mike or something like that,
Yeah, I think there was just a lot of little things energy wise that if they were different, Toronto would have had a totally different game. And like
Right.
if Adam Wallace had been there, or if Jamie Staken had been there, I think that could have changed a lot of the matchups. And I think that Allen, him moving and him not being like, if he was here, if he wasn't as he was a little distracted, and he said so too, like he wasn't able to focus on the event mentally as much as maybe he wanted, because I feel like he would have been that kind of co-captain if he was a little bit more in the game in that aspect. But again, I think it was just that it was new. It was so much. I think that in the new season, Toronto will have a totally different energy.
Hey, I got a match for Jody, Jason. What do you think? What's your weight, Jody? 250?
No, I'm like 225 to 230.
Oh,
Can you get
to 250?
What were you thinking?
Pierre Cote.
Oh, right-handed?
No, lefty.
Oh, lefty. I don't.
Well, see what he did to Nathan.
Yeah, I know. He doesn't think he has a left hand, so that was.
But he clearly does. He clearly has the left hand.
Yeah.
What's his name? Pierre Cote?
Yeah. He just beat Nathan Leland, and Nathan's strong. Like, he's a big boy.
Was that at a Mac event?
That was tough. That was tough.
Yeah,
And that's the thing, right? Like, now that I think about it, I'm like, no one really respected Pierre's left until he beat Nathan. And like, Nathan had Pierre opened up and on the B side, and then Pierre just
dragged
him right across, and everyone was like, "What?"
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I'm thinking, you're the better arm wrestler, but he is a very strong guy, and like that could be very interesting.
Yeah, it would be an interesting match.
I didn't realize you were so thin, Jody. Jeez.
Yeah, Pierre was like 275.
But he's normally 250.
Around 250.
He's normally 250. Yeah, I think
he was a little
he came in because I'm not going to get Jody against Boucher, because Boucher is fucking unbelievable. He is about 230, isn't he, Boucher?
Boucher was 270.
Was he really?
Yeah, 260. Sorry, 260.
Where the hell is he hiding it?
It's all in his fucking frame up here, man. He's thick. He's very similar to Curtis.
Yeah.
The last big guy I pulled, aside from Ryan Espy at his event, was Salman Latimer. So
that's a big one.
And that big boy, but because our styles, we're like, oh, okay. Yeah, he got that massive press, but there were times I kind of found a lane.
You're like big top roll, right? Like big.
Yeah, but I found a lane, but I couldn't top roll through Salman's press. So if I went inside, it kind of threw him off, and there was like that lane. So
cool. Him
and I got some unfinished business to do next year, so we got a date set. But
are you trying to think of a match for 29th? Is that what you're?
No, Mac 5. I want to have Jody. Jody's always never available when Mac events happen. So ask him. He's never available.
What about?
And then he tells me, "Why am I not on a Mac event?" I'm like, Jody, you're always on vacation.
Oh, and Jody, so you're more left hand. You're more left hand, right? Oh, okay, so, yeah.
Well, you two were.
I asked you because August, we're on family vacation when that one came up. But then you said, "Okay, I'm gonna take a break." After this November 29th, you said you're going to take a break. So I don't know when that was going to be. And then I got scheduled a match in March. So it's kind of like, okay, so.
We'll let you know. But I was kind of thinking March time. Oh, my God. It's so funny. But I don't know. Maybe you should get special permission from the TAWF event guy to let you pull for Team Calgary or something. I don't know, or something. But like the thing is, man, we need to get our Mac individually needs to get our website like it's up, but there's nothing on it. So we have to get our website. We have to get our online store. We have to do the business side, focus on the business side of the game now, because we're we're going into our 6th major event. It's time. Do you get what I mean? So we take a little bit of a break. We'll do Challenger Series just to keep the Mac name going. We'll follow TAWF, support them. It's Mac related. Do you get what I mean? So Mac's not going anywhere. We're just not planning to do a big event again until maybe well into 2026.
Yeah.
If a bunch of money just falls out of the sky and they tell me to make it happen, well, fuck, we'll make it happen. but that hasn't happened yet. So, like,
Well, guys, I just want to say it was a treat to have you guys on here to kind of get the word out. And so I kind of want to give you guys a platform because I saw that event was like going, okay, I'm like, all right. I'm liking this. And then I see the teams, and now I can't wait for the next matchup. So, but knowing there's a season, there's an off season, so people can sit there and kind of get ready for it, so they're not wearing each other out throughout the whole calendar year. I like where it's going. I like the fact that there's a draft, which means if you're drafted, that means somebody, your peers, like what you have to offer, and they want you on their squad, which is also awesome too. So I just want to say, Jason, Ian, I'm glad that you guys with Mac and TAWF getting together, uniting. This is this is kind of cliche for me to say when you say, this is what the arm wrestling needs, the shot in the arm that it needs. But like I said, there's so much going on in this sport that, some way, somehow it's going to attract some people because not everybody is East versus West material. Can we?
No, and ask yourself this,
that, right?
Jody, ask yourself this. Up until Mac and TAWF stood up, like there's been a lot of negativity in our sport, like a lot.
Yeah.
I don't want to throw any organizations under the bus, but look at the various organizations that have struggled with scandal, whatever it is,
Right.
and it's like it's turned off a lot of people. It's actually arm wrestling has turned off a lot of fans, and that's unfortunate. So, I like how Jason operates. He operates with his heart and his mind, and I think I do the same. And I think that's why we align. We're honest with each other. We don't always agree. Believe me. Do we always agree, Jason? No. But I give him the respect that he deserves because he's the hardest working guy in arm wrestling. And
but you keep it professional too. That's the key. Keep it professional.
Yeah, of course, and we're friends. So, and he's been on the ground. He literally has been part of Mac and the Mac board since its inception. He was literally on the first professional Mac match, okay, where we had a pilot. We were in a pay-per-view event for MMA in an octagon. I was the ref. We had the first generation table, and it was Jason and Nathan Leland, and they went a full 6 rounds. Yeah. So it was and the MMA guys were all, weren't they? They were all fucking for it. They were like, that is awesome. And that's what really gave me the drive to say, okay, I said, Jason, I think I got something here, buddy. He's like, yeah, I think you do too. And then Jason modified.
Months later that you did TAWF.
And then I did TAWF because that was the deal. The deal was you do this for me, I do that for you. And then he liked the Mac table so much, and this was Gen 1, that he made the same pad. It was elevated, but it was 10 by 8. Now it's 10 by 9.5. But it was at the time it was 10 by 8. And that was the only similarity, right?
Yeah, well, and I made it like soft in the center and hard on the edge, so it kind of simulated the dip. So
okay, yeah.
Pad in the center, so it was like you could move your elbow without it looking like it was coming up. But when you got to the edge of the pad, it was like really firm, so you could feel that you were at the edge. So it was.
But it's all evolved from there, and he's been at every event since. And I've been at every event since, and I don't plan to miss. So that means I'm going to do my best, save some money, get my ass out to Calgary.
There you go. Well, gentlemen, thank you very much for coming on the show, getting out some information. I got to have you guys back on here, and I'm looking forward to the next event. So, guys, if you need our information, these gentlemen are your contacts. There's a website. Go ahead and check that out. And, guys, keep it going, man.
Thank you. Thanks. Thank you very much. Yeah, TAWF.ca. Check it out. Thank you very much, Jody.
Bye.
Take care, everybody.
See you guys.
Ciao.
Ciao.